Hi, Professor. My name is Lapit Singh. Now I'm going to talk about for week 6, chapter 12, yeah, as we studied sex, gender, and sexuality. Uh, in introduction, sex, gender, and sexuality are like a under constructed way, yet distinct concepts that shape identity in our society. Like as in our textbook, they describing difference, caste or semias case, like in a I didn't remember the year exactly. Like she participated in a race and won a world championship in the track. Her time improvement was very awesome. The officials of the game questioned her, and based on their testosterone levels, also not a steroid use. There are also gender distinctions. It differentiating biological male female is complex. Testosterone levels in a gender it varies because men's have a more testosterone level more than a woman, and it's normal in our society. As they also mentioned a historical context in in Olympics in Olympics, 8 females with XY chromosomes, and they are not eligible for the games. For example, Usain Bolt and his biological sex was never changed despite his dominance and his patience and his hard work. The main discussion sex, gender, and sexuality, social versus biological differences in gender classification, how athletic policies reflect wider views in gender identity. We learned it, and they are also talked about the differences between sex and gender. According to me, sex like a biological factors like a difference in a reproductive system and also height, weight, extra. Like according to me, gender like a social and a cultural roles as being a male or female, how we feel about our gender, sex, and that's all in the gender. Why gender is also social? They asked. Gender is learned through like a family, culture, society. It affects how people live, work, treated by the society, by whole culture, by norms. There are study don't did, there one study maybe in New Guinea. Both men and women were gentle and kind, and in their another place or another culture, both were aggressive and tough. It shows a gender role in different cultures. They were also talked about transgender. Someone's gender identify might not match their biological sex. For example, a baby born male, but later he identify as a female because her we can't say his or her specifically to hurt them because it's not by their born. And there are also some sex traits means it must almost be same for everyone. For example, menstruation, gender roles changes by like a culture. Some places limit women's rights. Legal issues also on the sexuality. According to me, they also talked about like a Canada, sex and gender are used separately without much legal debate. Uh, we also learned legal lessons from them. One of our sociologist main name is Nixon, maybe can legally identify as a woman in the society. It doesn't show that the gender identity is both personal and legally socially defined. Sexuality it means feelings and any kind of attraction to others by somebody. There are main 4 areas studied by sociologists. I maybe remember 2 or 3. First, social orientation. It clearly as a someone is attracted to who or whom not. In the social practices, it means type of like a sexual activities like having a sex with your partner, male or female. In the social sexual forms like a marriage, purity, love, culture, and laws in the society. They also talked about awareness. People usually realize that their orientation between childhood and adolescence is getting changed. Some people accept their orientation early, while some people take it longer to accept it. In the gender equality inequality in our society, like a stratification, a system where people have groups have power and sources than others, like money, areas, businesses, gender inequality like in Canada, women do more unpaid jobs, work at only at home. For example, child care, teaching their children, cooking and cleaning their home. Women also earn less than men and have less promotions in their workplace. There are also some perspectives on gender, like sociological theories on gender. It helps to understand gender and differences in the society, like a structural functionalism. It believes that gender plays an important role, as it developed, because they helped in family function, like a marriage or anything. Like in a past, men worked outside. As a laborer, hunter, or any kind of a worker, while women stayed at home and stay freely, only do home chores. Like there were some changes in the gender roles at the World War I and Second. Women worked outside to manage the expenses of food, living, because men were at war. And after the war, men wanted their jobs back, but many women wanted to keep working and working. Like in symbolic interactionalism and gender, people understand the gender through symbols like clothing, behaviors, and character, as we assuming someone's gender based on symbols like how we interact with them and how they interact with us. Like it changed the views. While today most mothers work, it believes normal in days, but not on these days. It was like a abnormal activity in these days. They also predicted some controls, like in a woman's sexuality. In traditional times, women marry into their husband's family. They they were treated like as a property by giving the girl's parents to the boy's parents. Uh, there was also a expectation of virginity before marriage is broken. That's why women started and girls started to staying at home. They started covering their heads and body properly. Uh, there was some differences, different types of like sexuality. There's some legal discrimination against sexual minorities, I think 58 countries bans feel like a sex relations between men, and around 40 countries bans the same sex like women. And we also watched the videos of our week, and they were talked about first in our maybe first or second video. They said sex is like a biological type defined by chromosome. Like we are men, okay, and we have XY chromosomes, and women have double X chromosomes. The normal view, it's a normal view. Gender is like a different from sex. It means how society accepts and and expects men and women. People have like a gender identity, which means how people about their gender. Sexuality is about someone is attracted to other people or not, or by sexual behaviors or sexual activity, anything. Sexual, sexual, sexual reflects it's everything in our society, and Thank you so much. I also remembered one thing they talked about most of society believes that only men and women relationship is normal in our society, and some sociologists revealing gender roles, social properly culture norms in LGBTQ. Thank you.